This is my pop. A sucker for ice cream, a firm supporter of a cold beer, and a lover of the outdoors. Fishing, camping, and most importantly, family. Everything he did for us, his family. I remember every Sunday I spent with my pop, who would make my sister and I 2 eggs on toast, sunny side up with a glass of chalky milk for brekkie. He would go shopping before we arrived at their house to make sure they had the biscuits I like. He took photos at my football games, taught me how to drive a manual car, forced himself to share a beer with me on my first Christmas as an 18-year-old, and he would always walk out of the servo with a paddle pop for each of us to have, though I know he bought those more for himself than for me. Amongst all these small but significant sacrifices, commitments and traditions, inevitably my pop created countless memories for my family to cherish. He was around for a lot, and all of it, from learning how to ride a bike to family holidays, football grand finals and casual conversations, were documented on this, a 1995 Hi8 camcorder. He gifted this camera to me not long before he was diagnosed with mesothelioma, a terminal lung cancer caused by his exposure to asbestos during his career as a tradesman. And after a long battle, with countless days spent in bed, almost 40 kilos of weight off his frame, and the frustration of not being able to do what he's always been able to, he was ready. Content with the life he lived, and the legacy he left behind, my pop peacefully breathed his last breath of air in February of 2022. So when I was asked to make a video in memory of him that would be played at his funeral, I wanted to make something that honoured my pop and would last for a long time in the family, not just a photo reel. So I got all his closest relatives, his children, grandchildren, siblings and friends to record a short video telling a story that they thought encapsulated my pop the best.
We always knew that he would miss us when we left because he'd stand out on the veranda and wave goodbye. I'm going to miss you so much, Dad. Love you.
To me, the video was my pop. But as we know, nothing ever goes to plan. The video wouldn't play on the computers at the funeral home. Something was wrong with the downloaded copy, and they wouldn't let me plug a HDMI cable into my own laptop, so the video was never projected. But I figured out a way to share it with everyone. While being an incredibly underwhelming experience, it was the only way people could see it. So I played it straight off my laptop with a Bluetooth speaker at the wake.
To my brother, always had my back, always been there for us. Good times.
A photo of my pop's trip to New Zealand with my nan came up. As I stared at it, time seemed to slow down. Right up until the day he passed away, he spoke fondly of New Zealand, from the ice cream in Rotorua and the mountain ranges of the South Island. In that moment, I decided that my family and I were going to take my nan back to New Zealand to reconnect with the memories they shared together. Over the past 12 months, not many good memories have been lived, and both my family and my nan have gone through a lot with my pop. Setting up the spare rooms so my pop could have his own hospital bed at home, constant meetings and appointments with doctors, nurses and specialists, and adjusting to living in an empty house. This trip gives my nan in particular a chance to revisit the good memories my pop left behind, reconnect with the man she fell in love with, despite the condition he was in during the final stages of his life. It's a chance to truly begin to grieve and move forward. To remember him for who he was to us then, and not what he was when he was sick.
Miss you, Poppy. Thanks for all the ice creams, Poppy. I love you, Poppy. I miss you, Poppy. Thank you for my ice cream.
Say cheers, Poppy.
Cheers, Poppy.
Love ya.
Love you.
See you, mate.
Aw.
Memory is a way of holding onto your soul. It's what makes you, you. It reminds you of the things you love, the things you are, and the things you never want to lose. But when someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure, and it becomes a part of who you are. And that's really what this trip is all about. Indulging in the memory of my pop, remembering and treasuring those memories that have passed, and the new ones that are being created. What I've come to realise is unless you let go, unless you forgive the world, forgive the situation, unless you recognise that the situation was difficult, unless you acknowledge everything you're feeling, grieve everything you've lost, you cannot move forward. I love you, Pop, and I'll miss you a lot.